In this video we're going to complete the second part of this question, which is to complete the development of the truncated cone and the truncated cylinder. So we already have the cone done in a previous video already on Classroom. This time we need to develop this truncated cylinder. Okay, now we have an end elevation, and this outer piece of hidden detail indicates the diameter of the cylinder, and we have a little horizontal line there representing a flat edge that goes across the back of the torch, and you can see it down here in the 3D graphic as well. So this is the diameter of the cylinder. The flat edge then is this little flat surface. Okay, so going back to the drawing, okay, so our elevation here, we know that the development of a cylinder will look like a rectangle. This is going to be a little bit different. Okay, so I've already divided up the end elevation to complete the development of the truncated cone. So those sector lines are there for me already. But again, I'm going to just index each one. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and back to 0. So that's the first step. Okay, the next step, everybody, is to project those points from end elevation over to the elevation. I'm just going to do this with a red colouring pencil for the sake of getting these lines to stand out. So we already have point 0 brought across. That's the extreme generator of the cylinder, and point 6 is the lower extreme generator. Okay, now I'm bringing across points 1 and 11, 2 and 10, 3 and 9, 4 and 8, and 5 and 7. There, okay? And I'm just going to mark those off here. So at point 0, I have point 6, and then I have 1 and 11, 2 and 10, 3 and 9, 4 and 8, 5 and 7, and point 6. So I'm going to complete the development down in this direction here because it's the easiest thing to do. I'm going to call this the height. If we were to flip it 90 degrees, this is the height of the cylinder. Okay, so I can project down in this direction. I'm going to use construction lines for all of this to begin with. Okay, so focus that a little bit. Alright, so projecting down here and projecting down here. Okay, so I'm gonna the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a starting point. So I think I'm going to pick this line here, okay, the XY line. It's just the easiest thing to do. I'm going to call that point 0. Alright, now if you look at point 0 starts here, goes up along this edge to this point here. Okay, so we can call that point 0 as well, because it corresponds with the point in the base. We can call this point here point 6, which is at a different height than 0. Okay, I can also label the rest of these points. So this one here represents point 1 and 11. This one represents point 2 and 10. This one here represents point 3 and 9. 4 and 8 is here, just on that point where it changes direction. And then this last point is 5 and 7. Okay, I know I'm writing that very small, but still I would recommend you index, because it's very easy to keep track of your work when you do so. Okay, so points 1 and 11, 2 and 10 and so on all correspond with these points here. They're at the same height, and they correspond with how we divided up the cylinder in the end elevation. Alright, okay, so this is where the cylinder is truncated. This is going to be a flat circular shape that's represented in the end elevation. So again, like the development of the cone, I can take this distance from 0 to 1 or 1 to 2 or any one of those from the end elevation. So just take 0 to 1 and quickly just checking to see if they're the same, and they are, so I'm happy with that. Now going back to my development, what I now need to do is I need to mark off the circumference of that circle using that distance. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and one more brings us back to 0. Okay. Next step is I'm going to draw in construction lines to represent all of these generators in red, but in the development. So I just need my T-square to do that. I'm going to bring them all up or towards the right at the same height. Okay, so that's all my generators drawn in. I'm just going to zoom out a tiny little bit here. Not that. Okay, so what I can do now is I can bring point 0 down into the development. Okay, I need to go another small little bit, I'm on the wrong line. Okay, so point 0 is brought from elevation down to my development to meet the generator line from 0, and that gives me a point on the development. Okay, so I'm going to do the same for 1 and 11. So 1 and 11 are just here, so down to 1, but also down as far as 11 as well. So there's point 1, there's point 11. 2 and 10, same process. So point 2. So we're coming down from 2 to this point here, and 10 is all the way down here. Next is 3 and 9. So 3 and 9. 4 and 8. So 4 and 8 is this point here and this point here. Now let's have a little closer look at the next points, or the points that are remaining. So the points 4 and 8, 5 and 7 and 6 are all at the same height. Okay, because the cut doesn't actually go the whole way through the diameter of the cylinder, it just comes out here at this point. It's a 60-degree angle. So I just need to follow the points for 4 and 8, 5 and 7 and 6, and they're all on the same line. So there's point 5. And it's the same process for point 7 and point 6. Those lines are all in a straight line, so that is going to be a straight line. But I'm just going to go back and start heavying in the development up here. So I'm swapping to my HB pencil. So I'm going to draw a dark line from 0 to 0.0, which is here. Now you could index these as well, but just for time I won't. The same right down at the very bottom here. 0.0. Missed that one at the start. There's your 0.0. So we have a 0 here as well. A 0 at the start and a 0 at the end. Okay, and that's 0. Sometimes people start at 1 and call this 0.12. Whichever you prefer to do. So I'm going to heavy that in as well. Okay, and the next step then is to connect these points together, and this will be a curve. Okay, it's like sketching an ellipse or a parabola. Should be a nice smooth curve. And again, I'm going to do that. I'm going to just sketch it in with my 4H pencil first, just as a kind of a trial run. I'm happy with that. So I'll heavy it in with my HB pencil. And then this is just going to be a straight line. The last thing I want to do is just heavy in this line here, because that's also part of the development. Okay guys, so that's the development of the cylindrical surface. I'll just highlight it in blue. Truncated cone and a truncated cylinder developed. Okay, I'm going to complete just another little video where I'm actually going to cut out the outline of the truncated cylinder and the truncated cone, and I'm going to actually curve them together just to show you how these developments work, and to show you, or to prove that this is actually a true shape of the development of each item.